Whenever you're ready.
All right. I know that most of you have probably heard of trisomy 21, also known as Down syndrome. But have you ever heard of trisomy 18? Trisomy 18 is known as Edwards syndrome, which scientifically and medically is much like Down syndrome. You may not have heard of Edwards syndrome because it is rare compared to Down syndrome. Edwards syndrome occurs every 1 in 5,000 births, with Down syndrome occurring every 1 in 700 births. Hi, my name is Alisa Arnold and I'm from Coffee County. I attend South Georgia State College in Douglas, Georgia. Today I would like to introduce trisomy 18, its effects on physical appearances and babies' bodies, and how it has affected my family personally. I would also like to raise awareness for this condition. Trisomy 18 is a condition that is caused by an error in cell division. This defect that occurs is known as meiotic non-disjunction. This is where an extra 18th chromosome developed instead of the normal 2. If this happens when a baby is developing, it can put them at risk of death even before they are born. Only about 50% of babies with trisomy 18 that make it to full term will be born alive. This means that the others are stillborn. Even after being born alive, the chances of survival are very slim. Half of the babies born alive do not make it past the first week after being born. 90% of the babies that survive the first week do not make it past 1 year of age. There is no actual known cause of Edwards syndrome, but the mother's age can affect the likeliness of the occurrence. As a mother's age increases, the chances of her baby developing this condition rises. Most babies that are born with Edwards syndrome are girls. There are 3 different types of trisomy 18. Full trisomy 18, mosaic trisomy 18, and partial trisomy 18. In most of the trisomy 18 cases, the third 18th chromosome is found in all of the cells of the body. This is what doctors call full trisomy 18. However, in some, but few cases, the third 18th chromosome is found in only some of the cells of the body. This is mosaic trisomy 18, and it is very rare. Partial trisomy 18 occurs when the baby only has a part of the extra 18th chromosome. This part of the chromosome may be attached to another chromosome in the egg or sperm. Partial trisomy 18, like mosaic trisomy 18, is also very rare. The severity of mosaic trisomy 18 all depends on how many of the cells contain the extra chromosome. If only a small amount of the total cells has the extra chromosome, the effects won't be as severe as in a case where the extra chromosome is in a large or all amounts of the cells. Partial trisomy 18 is a less severe type as well. It is usually fairly easy to tell that a baby might have trisomy 18 because of the physical appearances that the condition causes. The appearances that you might find in a baby with trisomy 18 are a low birth weight, a small head, a cleft palate, deformed feet, clenched fists with overlapping fingers, low set ears, severe developmental delays, a small mouth, widely spaced, bulgy eyes, and an abnormally small jaw. Not all babies born with Edwards syndrome will have all of these physical deformities. Some babies will have very severe defects, but some will only have minor ones. And that is what a cleft palate looks like. That's what their hands may look like, and their feet. Trisomy 18 also causes a lot of health issues for the babies. Some of the most common health problems are in the heart, brain, lungs, kidneys, and the intestines. Most babies with the condition have a very hard time feeding and often have to have feeding tubes inserted. The kidneys of these babies may be abnormally positioned, joined together, or contain multiple cysts. Trisomy 18 babies are typically characterized by mental retardation. This is because they are usually intellectually impaired and don't have well-developed verbal and motor skills. This means that trisomy 18 babies most likely won't learn to walk or talk in their lifetime. Over 90% of these babies will have a congenital heart defect. For example, a baby could have a problem with the function of the heart valve or have an opening between the upper or lower chambers of the heart. They could also have underdeveloped lungs, which makes breathing on their own very difficult or even impossible for some. And that's a picture of my cousin right there. Doctors can detect signs of trisomy 18 through ultrasounds, but this is not a very accurate way to diagnose the condition. A more precise method to test for Edwards syndrome is to take samples of the baby's amniotic fluid cells or placenta cells and analyze their chromosomes. After they are born, the doctor can look at the physical appearances and decide to have a blood test done to look for chromosome abnormality. The blood test can also be used to test the likeliness of the mother having another baby with Edwards syndrome. As far as treatment goes, there is no cure for trisomy 18. It can be treated, but these treatments are for extending the baby's life as long as possible, providing the baby with the best quality of life that they can, and take away any pain that may occur. Depending on what the parents want, babies may also have surgeries to try and fix internal problems such as heart defects. I would now like to tell you about how trisomy 18 has affected my family personally. On March 2nd, 2015, my cousin Danny Lynn Sears was born. Sorry, y'all.
Don't apologize. Here's your
She had a low birth weight of 4 pounds and 2 ounces. When she was born, she had small, bulgy eyes. Her eyes were widely spaced apart. She also had a small head with very low set ears. Her ears were noticeably lower than normal, but no one really thought much of it. She had no problems with the way her hands and her feet were shaped. They looked like normal baby's hands and feet. Her mother, also my cousin, was 38 years old when Danny Lynn was born. The doctors decided to keep her in the hospital about a month after she was born because they detected heart problems and wanted to try and raise her weight. She eventually got to go home where everything seemed fine. At around 3 months, they began to notice that she wasn't growing normally or gaining much weight. They decided to take her to get her tested. They finally discovered and diagnosed her with trisomy 18. The next few months consisted of her being in and out of the hospital. She also had a hospice nurse helping to take care of her. In the last couple of months, she began to show signs of decreasing health. She had a hole in her heart that needed to be fixed through surgery. They placed her in Wolfson's Children's Hospital. She had a feeding tube inserted. Danny Lynn also had fluid buildup in her lungs. All of a sudden, her health took a very bad turn. Danny Lynn died on October 31st, 2015. She was almost 8 months old. She did beat most of the odds by living as long as she did. As you can see, trisomy 18 is a horrible condition that unfortunately has no cure. It causes so many issues with the baby's bodies that it affects. With all of the health issues that it brings, most babies don't even make it to birth. They are either miscarried or stillborn. It majorly alters the baby's physical appearances and oftentimes causes deformities. In conclusion, trisomy 18 needs more awareness so that people understand how the children are affected. This is important so that everyone will know what to look for in a baby to tell if they have Edwards syndrome. They didn't figure out Danny Lynn had the condition until 3 months after she was born. Finding it sooner can have a huge impact on the amount of time that a baby survives. I hope this has given you information on trisomy 18 or Edwards syndrome that you may not have known before. Thank you.